I got a stat for you. Saw this in CBS.com, and I wanted to run it by you and see what you made of it. So, Brock Purdy, in close games, this is what they wrote. He has 9 touchdown passes and 15 picks in his career when tied or trailing in the second half and overtime, regular season and postseason, compared with 61 touchdown passes and 13 picks in all other situations. That amounts to the worst touchdown to interception ratio and highest interception rate among 28 quarterbacks with 200 plus attempts in those late close situations since he entered the league in 2022. Dead last. In addition, Purdy finished the season with a whimper. He made crippling turnovers in the clutch in each of his final 3 games of the season. He was actually the first player in 18 years with an interception in 3 straight games on potential game-tying or go-ahead drives in the fourth quarter or overtime. That was against the Rams, the Dolphins, and the Lions. Do those numbers concern you?
I mean, absolutely they do. Here's what I see on those numbers. One, some guys are like David Carr or Derek Carr, where they just, it doesn't, even if they're behind, they might throw the ball out of bounds because they didn't have anything they liked down the field. Brock Purdy's not that guy. Brock Purdy wants to win, and he's all about winning. So he's going to put the ball in harm's way in the fourth quarter if he has to, because he's not going down, throwing the ball into the turf and punting and jogging off.
He's got a little Phil Rivers in him.
He's going to try to make a play. Try to make a play. So that combination of he's going to try to make a play with they were behind a lot last year, and they were 32nd in the NFL in separation, meaning their receivers are just glued to the defenders. It just makes any pass that he throws in the second half, especially with no play action, potentially a pick. So I think this is something we are going to see. We saw it at Iowa State, and we've seen it thus far, and we're going to continue to see it. When Brock Purdy wins games, he's going to give you that vibe of, wow, look at this guy. This guy could beat anybody on any day. He's going to give you that great feeling. But then when the 49ers lose games, he's going to have late in the game turnovers. We're going to point the finger at him, and we're going to wonder aloud every time if he's the guy. So I do believe that it's not a good thing to a degree, because turnovers are never good, right? But on another hand, I do like the fact that this guy's in the game to try to win it, not just lose in a comfortable fashion. He's out there to win, and if he's not going to win, he's not worried about throwing a fourth quarter interception or 2. I think, Grant, as the Niners add some better speed, and we've already talked about it a little bit in this, Cowing and Garendo and Watkins and some of these guys who actually are a little faster, I think there'll be more separation. I think that means there'll be fewer turnovers. But, yeah, Brock has got to stop putting the ball in harm's way in big moments. And I think this is also a little bit tied to Shanahan, is that Shanahan's offense, when they fall behind, it's like they don't have any answers. It's like they have to play at all times ahead or even. If they fall behind, he gets very impatient. If they fall behind inside of a game, he'll eliminate the run and just go pass. And then if they get a quick score, then he'll go back to the run game. But until they get that quick score and get back even, it's pass. So I just sense an impatience from Kyle. Also, I'm not sure if his game works as well without the play action elements. He voluntarily took away a lot of the play action elements a year ago. But I think the lack of separation and Brock's desire to try to compete and win every game is going to lead him down this road in the future again. I think this is going to be a consistent theme throughout his career. When they lose, he throws late in the game turnovers that make it look like he is the reason they lost. And he might be part of the reason they lose.
I mean, that interception he threw at the end of the Rams game with the season on the line was just horrendous. It was one of the worst I've ever seen from him. But usually when he throws the pick that loses the game, it was very similar to Jimmy. It's the fourth quarter under pressure, throwing to a spot over the middle picked off. We saw Jimmy do it a lot. We've seen Brock do it a lot. And it's like, how much of that is the quarterback? How much of that is what Kyle's asking them to do? And how much of that is the offensive line? Like, if they weren't under pressure and they weren't being, encouraged to throw to specific spots over the middle by their head coach. Maybe they don't just blindly get picked by the linebacker or the free safety the way that they like when they throw those picks. It's like, dude, how did you not see that? So, but it's been quarterback after quarterback in the Niners system. I feel like there are other factors here that aren't just them. It's the offensive line. It's Kyle. If they would just have a little bit more time to throw, I don't think he would make those, heroic, blind, not, crazy throws. Prize Picks will give you $50 when you play your first $5 lineup. Win or lose, you'll get $50 for playing. Use promo code COHN, COHN, and download the app now.
I mean, I thought Garopolo was maybe one of the worst late in the down quarterbacks I've ever seen. You called the play, and if he executed the play, it was almost always a positive. If he didn't execute the play, but then checked down to something else quickly, then it was also could be a positive. But if he held the ball late in the down, it was like, oh my God, what's coming next? We're all just holding our breath.
Dripping off of him.
Yeah, I mean, so he was a horrible late in the down thrower. Purdy is a little bit better because of his mobility and his overall vision and understanding of the defense and where the voids are in the defense, where the defenders should be. But once he's late over the middle like that, he doesn't have enough juice on the fastball to get away with it. Like Brett Favre could get away with late over the middle because he's throwing a rocket ricochet shot, and it's like, but if you throw a catchable ball and you're late over the middle, it's also catchable for the defense. So you can't be late over the middle. Brock's going to have to, it's about mental reps. It's about separation. It's about being smart with the football. And also it's about, I mean, you heard him when I asked him about it. I said, what did you need to work on this offseason? He's like, man, I got to get back to my rookie year where I just worried about taking my drop, knowing the play, reading it out, having the proper footwork, and just getting the ball out of my hand as quickly as possible to my guy, and that's it. And instead, last year he held the ball, trying to let his guys free themselves up, trying to let the play happen, trying to run a little bit more to give himself more time, and he made some plays, but as the more he ran, Grant, and to me, the line of demarcation was that Week 7 Kansas City game. From when Spags sped him up for the rest of the year, he made bad decisions. And so that's what happens late in the down. If you get a little, in your head, you start making bad decisions. And I think he's going to be more cognizant this year of playing on time and getting the ball out faster.
To me, there's like two spectrums of young mobile quarterbacks. There's like the Jaden Daniels type and the Caleb Williams type. And the Jaden Daniels type, what I think what everyone likes about him is how decisive he is. He's not really a playmaker. He's a point guard. He gets the ball out of his hands quickly. And when he decides to run, he does it. And he gets out of bounds. He gets 8 yards. Like, he doesn't have all these like, oh, he's rolling left. Oh, he's reversing field. He's held the ball for 8 seconds. Like, that's not Jaden Daniels. That's Caleb Williams. And I think what kind of stunk about last season from Brock is that's what kind of Brock turned into. And I think that's what he was talking about. Like, when I first got in the league, I was the point guard. I was the decisive one. I was Jaden Daniels. And maybe he's tried to prove that he's more than that. But if he could just be decisive, get the ball out of your hands quickly, and when it's not there, scramble. Don't hold the ball for 15 seconds and try to get it down the field. I mean, he's a really good scrambler too. He could do more of that.
Yeah. No, I think all those points are on point. I mean, and you saw it. And the nice thing about Brock is he doesn't run from it. He will kind of tell you, man, this is what I was doing. This is what I was doing, and this is why it wasn't working. And what I saw, too, is just that when he got sped up a few times by the better teams, his decision-making started not being nearly as good. And part of his value proposition, he's not the biggest guy with the biggest arm. Part of his value proposition is he's accurate, he plays on time, and he makes good decisions. Yep. And that all falls apart if you're making bad decisions. And if you're holding the ball, out of 10 dropbacks, maybe his rookie year, maybe he held the ball once out of 10. This last year, he probably held the ball 4 times out of 10, and maybe twice out of 10 he made a real nice play, but twice out of 10 he turned the ball over. So those turnovers will absolutely kill you, and what they will prevent you from doing is just winning. And the play that you mentioned before on the Jennings ball, that ball cannot be thrown. And when I asked Shanahan about it, he defended Brock, and that's fine because you're going to defend your guy in the media. That's fine. But don't tell me that was the right play. All of the defenders were taking away the deep passes. Brock didn't even see the defender with Jennings because he had a defender in his face. All three of the defenders underneath were open with defenders behind them. They were easy checkdowns. It wasn't third down. It wasn't the end of the game. It was first down. There was plenty of time left. It was classic over aggressive quarterback play. And I wish sometimes in those situations Shanahan would own it or make Brock own it, but he, obviously he wants to defend Brock against the big bad media criticism. But I thought the criticism was just and fair.
Yeah, and I think that's, what Brock's critics are going to point to and say, like, look, we like Brock, good guy, good story, but the lore of his decision-making and processing, it's still something to be, the jury's still out on that, because when you have all those all-pros around you, when you have McCaffrey and Ayuk and Debo and Kittle, you're going to look like a good decision maker. There's a lot of people who are open. When you take McCaffrey out and Ayuk out, and all of a sudden you're waiting on Jawan Jennings to get open or deciding whether you want to throw him another 50-50 ball, how good of a decision maker are you? So that's what I think we need to see from him. And now that he's making all this money, perception is reality. You're supposed to be the guy who comes through in close games. So no excuses, really. Even if it's not 100% your fault, and if it's on the offensive line and the receivers and Kyle, like ultimately it's probably going to go at your feet.
Yeah. Look, he was a great bargain, and now he's being paid like a top tier guy. And along with that come expectations that you're going to consistently deliver a top tier caliber performance. And if he does, he'll be lauded for it. And if he doesn't, he'll be criticized. And I think everybody understands that. Brock, Shanahan, the players, the fans, the media, I think everybody gets it. And, the one thing about Brock is that he's not going to run from it. He's not going to be like, hey, man, it's not me. It's not me. He's going to blame himself first. If Shanahan had a little bit more of that, I think it would be good for Shanahan.
Get started at factormeals.com/Cohn50off and use code Cohn50off to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. Yeah, I agree. Good point. One thing I want to say before we move on is Niner fans, the way they think of Jordan Love is, I think, the way these numbers paint Brock Purdy. Like when Niner fans think of Jordan Love, they're like, yeah, I don't care what he's done in the regular season. I've seen him in the playoffs. I've seen him with the game on the line. I don't trust him. And these numbers sort of paint the same picture about Brock, but we saw him against the Packers in the playoffs. We saw him against the Lions in the playoffs. He was money in the second half in close games down. So maybe there's something there. Maybe this is just a small sample size. Maybe it's Kyle. I don't know, but it's definitely something he's got to prove.
Well, there's no question that, Brock showed up big time in the playoffs against Detroit and Green Bay in the second half, so he played well in those games. He played well in the Super Bowl. He walked off the field twice late as a Super Bowl winner. Their defense couldn't, the Niners make their name on defense, and they couldn't get a defensive stop against Mahomes, and thus they lost the game. But I think Brock won over a lot of people there. And I think he's good enough to get it done. We're going to find out, but he's not going to, he's definitely not the kind of player. There's 3 or 4 players that can just say, hey, jump aboard, I'm going to carry you. And only a couple of those guys even, like Burrow and Allen, I think, are like that, but they haven't won rings. So it's just a matter of, can the 49ers surround, while paying him what they're paying him, can they surround him with enough talent to win a championship? And we don't know the answer to that yet, but I'm hoping the answer is yes. But we're going to find out. We're going to find out. They couldn't surround him with enough talent to get it done when he wasn't making a lot of money. And now that he is making a lot of money, by definition, it's going to be more difficult. But it doesn't mean it can't be done. So we'll see if it can be done. Philly's done it, and we'll see if the Niners can do it.
They just gave him such a huge vote of confidence. I've never seen, maybe someone can point out a different example, but I've never seen a quarterback get this kind of an extension after a 6-win season. And I'm not saying he didn't deserve it. It's the market. But the owners felt he definitely deserved it. I don't know if Kyle did. Kyle didn't get an extension. That's all I know. Brock got an extension. Kyle didn't. So it's a very interesting setup right now. And if Brock doesn't tear it up this year, I wonder if the Yorks blame him or the coach.